The gun show is finally back. That's right, Weapons in the Outfitter is here, and we have some tips and tricks, that and more, on this episode of the SWTOR Escape podcast from newoverlords.com. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 423. And with me is my co-host, Seema. Hi, Seema. How's it going?
Hey, Max. It's going pretty good. Although tonight seems like it's a little late. But
maybe.
yes.
That was a
just saying
secret.
to-
Everyone who's downloaded this the next day wouldn't have known that, but
Well, what I really meant
I'm
was that
neither early
I'm-
nor late. I podcast exactly when I mean to, Seema.
I feel like I'm like up late or whatever. Someone was saying, "Oh, I have to go to bed. It's past my bedtime," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, past mine too." But you know. And I did take a nap this afternoon, which I often do on a Thursday in prep for the podcast. But today I had this kind of nap. I don't know do you ever have this like where I just slept really hard
Yeah.
and had strange dreams, and when I woke up it was sort of like, where am I? What day is it?
Yeah. You can really get out of it. They recommend not doing anything more than 40 minutes or so, because you can end up. So you're going to be up all night.
Yes.
Podcast with Seema up all night. We're gonna get crazy here in the post show.
So do you like just program yourself to like wake up before you get into that really deep sleep?
I set timers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
well. I
the
think
I science
if
the
I would
hell
have
out of
been
it.
I was sleeping so hard that if I gotten woken up by an alarm, I don't think that would have been pleasant either. But anyway, we're here to talk about Star Wars: The Old Republic, and let's see. I've been doing all my normal stuff this week, which includes a little bit of leveling, some conquest, some galactic seasons, which we've actually been ever since you said last week, oh, maybe we should like not be saving rep just for conquest in the new rep because we want to get to work towards this achievement. So I started thinking about that, but then we have another problem that came up, don't we?
Yes, which I'm kind of concerned about. So we're gonna have to check in with BioWare and see what the deal is with that. Why don't you describe the problem, and then
I'll just say that
we
it
should
seems
be out of
like the
luck.
weekly cap for the Shadow Syndicate rep is so low that I've left it too long.
Right.
Like you had to have been doing it full bore from the beginning of the galactic seasons in order to get that rep maxed out within the season.
Right.
So
the meta achievement to get the extra customization that we talked about last week, the Chad Bane customization. So if you scroll down under Legacy, Galactic Seasons, and you look at the different objectives, one of the objectives, which we thought was perfectly fine, was reach legend rank in the Shadow Syndicate reputation track during the Shadows of the Underworld season. Normally that takes a maximum of 5 weeks.
Yeah. And we thought it was fine because, we have a lot of items, the rep items.
And we have plenty of rep items, and normally the weekly cap allows you to do that in 5 weeks. It's a minimum of 14 weeks to do this. Yeah. And very few people have realized that because they lowered the reputation cap. So then if you go up to reputation, they lowered the weekly reputation cap down to 5,000 per week. So who realized that it was going to take 14 weeks to get that reputation? There's not 14 weeks left in the season.
No, there are not.
There are not. So as you can tell by the tone of my voice, I'm a little riled up about this.
Well, I feel like I just found out about this set of achievements, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go for the achievements. This will be fun. I'll go for the achievements. And then I'm like, aw.
Right.
I can't get it.
And I've been doing weeklies to go for those achievements, and now it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And now I've got nothing to work towards, and that's a sad story. I was really kind of excited about that.
So yes, but that was what we sort of realized tonight while we were doing ops. But what we did, by the way, with ops is we went and did well, the very first thing we did was we went veteran mode in EV and tried to kill the first boss. We got a lot closer than the last time we tried it, but we're still got some kind of a gap there.
A little
And
bit.
so we went and did story mode um, Ravagers, which is the pirate themed one, which is always fun. And then we went and tried veteran mode Nephra, which I feel like we should have been able to do since people are pugging the nightmare Nephra every day on the fleet. So don't know what's going on there either necessarily, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
mean,
then
we just need to put our augments in, and that, I think, with a
yeah,
bunch of people.
I totally need to put my augments in. Although I don't know that a plug that you grab on the fleet everyone's going to be all augmented. But anyway, um yes. Oh, and then we went and did the priority targets for the world bosses to get some of the daily resource matrices for
Hmm.
upgrading gear. But anyways, all in all, it was a fun night, and we MFN this week we went and did explosive conflict, which was an operation that we hadn't done in quite a while for MFN. I had some trepidation, but it went smooth like butter. Went extremely well, so that was awesome,
Yeah,
and that was also a fun night.
that was.
So between Galactic Seasons, MFN, Ops, Conquest, and leveling, I try to level at least one character to 80 each week, which means, what do I have, like 40 characters? It's kind of a year-long project. But yeah, so that's how my week has gone. How about you, Max?
That's interesting about leveling characters. I have been leveling a couple characters here and there, but I don't have that many to 80 just yet. I have been doing from time to time when it's kind of made sense, or when we've had with some of those weekly objectives that have been do do 8 stories in the bounty hunter original
Mm-hmm.
story missions. I've been leveling up an alt. I think I want to get a few more though to 80. It would just be nice to be able to spread out. I need a bunch of tech frags because I'm changing my spec. That's one thing I was working on this week. I'm going to be changing to Plasma Tech Vanguard for DPS. It's slightly higher parsing, slightly higher, like 10-15% higher.
Mm.
Uh, Arsenal on the parses is at the bottom by far, and I was hoping 7.0.2 might have done some tweaking, and it has not. So I did some parsing of my own and confirmed that Arsenal is pretty low. I'm going to go to Plasma Tech, but in order to do that, I need what do you need? The about 40,000 tech frags to
Right.
get the legendary implants all the way up to uh, 330, 230, 230, 230, and need everything else to get, no, 330, 330, yes. And then get everything. My weapons also need to be switched over. I can use all the same gear, that's all fine, but the weapons need to be switched over, and I'm going to need to tweak the alacrity target because the alacrity is different for plasma tech
Mm-hmm.
versus mercenary for whatever reason to get to the 1.4 global second cooldown. I need a bunch more alacrity on my plasma tech. So a bunch of work to do there to get that tuned up, and then I'll have that. So I've been working on that a little bit this week, including some of the parsing. I was doing the weekly galactic season objectives, and I probably still will just to finish it off while I send a strongly worded letter. I pen a strongly worded note to BioWare to ask them to up that limit for the reputation so that the people that are joining now, so you don't have to take 14 weeks or 15 weeks or longer because you didn't turn into the maximum every single week to even come close to getting that achievement. That's kind of rough.
But even if they receive your strongly worded letter and they go, "Oh my goodness, this is a great idea. We're going to implement this," it's not going to be in time for us.
Uh, maybe not. Maybe not. That would be a sad story. Maybe they can extend the deadline to get that achievement or something then and put that into do another check at the time that 7.1 comes out or something like that. I don't know.
It might be worth doing just on the hope that the way it's worded is inaccurate. Maybe you can continue to turn them in after the end of the season.
Right. Right. Or if enough people ask about it, they give us some grace period.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that is what I've been doing. Oh, and we'll certainly talk about it tonight, but I have been in the outfitter, of course, working on the gun show. Only my mercenary, only the guns. But I've been playing with weapons and outfitter, and we're going to talk about that quite a bit tonight. But before we talk about that, let's talk about some of the other news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
So first up in the news, we have a May the 4th is coming up, and there are Star Wars stuff galore. So if you look at StarWars.com, there's a big news article that went out that's talking about all the Star Wars games and what's happening for May the 4th across the spectrum of every current Star Wars game that's sort of in production. So if you scroll down in this list, they have Battlefront and Jedi Fallen Order, and there's little deals of either buying the game or extra DLC or whatever you can do across all of these squadrons. The triple bundle, Minecraft. And if you keep scrolling down, Star Wars Racer, Jedi Knight Academy, Jedi Outcast, Knights of the Old Republic, the old games. Keep scrolling down, keep scrolling. Oh, way down here by Star Wars Pinball. Here's Star Wars the Old Republic. So what we are getting, log in on May the 4th, and you will receive a new Astromech Mini Pet, the P1XL. And then you can also get 40% off the Galactic Leisure Bundle. And there's a couple other things. So if I didn't get this, so that's what it says up here. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, it talks about two other things, which we could not find just yet, which was a couple bundles that will be on discount, either in the cartel market or on Steam or on both. Not exactly clear, but it was the Sith bundle and the Jedi bundle right down here. 40% off on Steam. I don't know what this means, and if you won't be able to get them in the cartel market, or they're nowhere right now, so maybe they're just going to show up for the 4th on Steam because it says 40% off on Steam, or it's going to show up in multiple places and it's only going to be discounted on Steam. I don't know. It's a bundle though that has a Jedi armor set and a weapon and a couple other things with it. Same then like a mirror set for the Sith side. Some of that traditional armor. So if you are interested in that or any of the other deals that they've got going on across all of these Star Wars games, this is a great time to check it out. And May the 4th be with you. So that's that. What else we got in the news?
So also this week there was a tweet from Charles Boyd saying they've started some work with voice actors this week. So his tweet was like, he's always floored by the voice actors and their talent and everything, which I can totally understand. But it's good news for us because, more voiced stuff on the horizon.
Yes, it is. He posted that, and then a couple people, Kogus, I think, replied and said, "Oh, hey, just asking for a friend. How does one become a voice actor?" And then I think Sith Lord Britt also replied and said, "Yes, I'm asking same thing, but for a different friend." So I replied and said, "I'm asking for a friend, but this friend can only do voices that end up sounding like Sean Connery. So give me a call if you need someone to say, 'Give me a ping, Vizsla. One ping only, please.'" So yeah, that's what I said. So that's that. I'm sure I'm gonna be doing voices real soon for Sith Connery,
right,
or whatever, real soon. Also in the news, there with 7.0.1 is 7.0.1, right? I almost got the number wrong here in my head. 7.0.2? What are we up to? 7.0.2.
Yeah.
With 7.0.2, a couple things went in, but it broke a couple things. We didn't actually notice it when we did our operations night tonight, but the way the bosses target people for their effects that they're blasting out, when it's supposed to target someone who's like closest to the tank, somehow that code got mixed up, and it's now not targeting the people that you would expect it to target. It's not so important in story mode. It's not really a problem, but in veteran mode or master mode, that can be a huge issue when that's where you're expecting those abilities to go. BioWare came up with a fix that they could implement on the back end without having to even restart the servers, which they did. But then that fix broke something else. It broke dot spread. So then they reverted that fix. And last I saw a couple hours ago, there wasn't any updated resolution. So I don't know if that's fixed yet or not. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And if you are in doing some of the harder operations, keep an eye out for that. Where you expect some of those boss abilities to go, it may not be going there. So you're going to need to be careful.
Mm-hmm. And then also, Chris Schmidt posted a clarification on what we did see in 7.0.2 with respect to stats and syncing. So I don't know about you, Max, but I did kind of think that all the stats, all the level syncing fixes were going in, because I don't read carefully.
Right.
But he made it pretty clear that the maintaining of accuracy and alacrity once you get synced is not in this update, and that's why people are not seeing it. Relics working correctly when they're synced is not in this update. It's in a future update. And he also explained sort of like when they make posts like this, if they give a number, but they also in the same post say in a future update, that means a different update, not the numbered one that they're talking about. So
Yeah.
I think that might have been maybe what I was thinking is like he would say in 7.0, and then later on he might say in a future update.
And usually it's pretty clear. Usually he says,
Yeah.
we're going to fix
Yeah.
this and this, and then in a future update, and then.
Right.
But I missed it too. And I think most people were expecting just some of that stat stuff that's really annoying that they were hoping, maybe even just hoping that it would come sooner. And it is not here yet.
Right. The presence should be working though correctly. And then also the bug where companions were missing their taunts and heals.
Yeah.
And how they also, there was a bug, he doesn't mention it here, but I think it's fixed now too, where their AoE would miss every mob. I think those are both fixed. So
Well, it was an area of effect, just not that area.
right. It's affecting the area, not the mobs.
It was
But
outside the environment.
I haven't actually noticed a difference.
I haven't played enough to check, I guess. No, I have not, so I don't know.
Yeah, so Intistar just said in the chat room that he's noticed that his comps aren't as potato anymore, so that's good.
All right. Now I want a potato as a companion, an actual
I just want a potato. That sounds good. Crispy potatoes.
Delicious.
Yeah. So yes. So basically, for our own knowledge, in the future, when we're reading their updates, if there's a number, if they refer to a number, that's probably going to be the next update. If they say in a future update, that means not the numbered update that we just mentioned.
Right. Makes sense. Thank you, Chris Schmidt, for that clarification. And then, of course, we certainly did get 7.0.2. The main event in 7.0.2, for us at least, is Weapons and Outfitter. But there are plenty of other things that came in 7.0.2 as well. Oh, not that one. This set of patch notes. You can look through the patch notes and see everything else that went in, including a bunch of bug fixes. The currency changes were a big thing that you can see going on here. That is all in and looks good. I was appreciating that even today, being able to say, the Warzone commendations and the Flashpoint commendation. You could just say Warzone, Flashpoint, and Op because they're now named OP, WZ, and FP. The daily resource matrix, that's going to take me a while to get over calling those aquatic resource matrices because I had that one down. But that's all in, as well as some of the updates like the number of tech frags that are dropping from bosses and operations, and we confirmed that tonight. So they're a little bit more evened out across the bosses to prevent people from saving a lockout to the last boss and farming that boss over and over and over, all of their characters, and allowing everyone to get a few more tech frags along the way. So if you look at the way they're sort of spread out, the first boss has the least, and then it scales up, and pretty much flattens out by the third boss, and you get like 50 more for the last boss. Seems
Also
reasonable.
in chat, reminder from Machete, because you were just saying you're going to need a bunch of tech fragments for your project, is you could take your conquest commendations and turn them into tech fragments.
Yes. So medals of commendation now are able to be converted 1-for-1, which isn't that many, but still, it's something. But 1-for-1 for extra medals of commendation, you can convert those directly over to tech frags, and the limits, the currency limits that you have for a bunch of those currencies have also gone up, which is really appreciated. Those low limits of only 999 on the conquest commendations is now up to 2,500. That's great. That's really useful. Tech frags is 11,000. I think the FP stabilizers might have gone up as well. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to still keep an eye on these. I spent a whole bunch trying to get my Plasmatech Vanguard all geared up, so I was able to clear a bunch out and not have the annoying warning messages all night. So I appreciated that. The one thing I didn't clear out that I did cap out on is the Underworld Syndicate plans. So I need to clear those out. But if I'm not going to be able to get Legendary anyway, then maybe it doesn't matter. Anyway.
Yep.
Also in the notes is a bunch of known issues, and the known issues are expanding. So if you're watching the bug forums and watching what Natha is posting, who's the community lead or community team note member posting to the forums, you can see as more of these issues are discovered, major or minor, they're even being added to this post. It's being kept up to date. So this is a great place to bookmark and go back to if you run into something, to see if it's a known issue or if you need to submit a bug message in the game. So that is that. One last thing that I'm looking forward to. What is that, Seema?
Double XP. Woohoo!
Double XP
Yes.
is coming.
Yep. So starting on May 3rd and going until May 10th. So a week.
Yeah.
Week-long double XP. Like I said, May 3rd, but I mean, I think of that as May 4th because it's
Right.
midnight. Yeah, so it's a May the Force be with you thing. Like I have been putting some effort into leveling, but at the same time, I do tend to do things on my 80s first because I'm after the daily resource matrices, which you don't get if you're not level 80. So I have to think about how I'm going to spend my time that week during double XP.
Right. Right, because getting the currency or filling that up versus getting more to 80 so that you can use those in future weeks.
Yep.
It's a toss up. In guild and community news, we do have an opening, don't we, Seema, on one of our ops teams?
Our team, Where's the Cantina, which meets on Monday nights on the pub side, is still looking for a full-time DPS.
Sweet. Definitely check that out. Jump in our guild Discord, aie-guild.org. There's a Discord link in the upper right. You can jump in our SWTOR channels and say, hey, in fact, we had new members even joining this week. We were getting a bunch of characters invited and getting people who had never done ops before or haven't done ops since launch coming in and joining our Tuesday night group. But if you're looking for a permanent Monday night pub ops team that you can join, pretty casual, check that out. Jump in the Discord channel and ask about it, and someone will point you in the right direction. It is a fun way to get involved and do more of that, so certainly take a look. And a shout out to the chat room. We were running late tonight with my continued organization and trying new things every week with the new studio that you see behind me. The new thing I tried was not setting it up before my ops night. And as a result, I ran into issues and tried to do it quick, and it was a little bit of a train wreck. But everything got on track, and we had the chat room there to verify for us that everything was looking good. So really appreciate what you all do for us there in the chat room, especially trying to do this live. That makes a big deal for us. So thank you very much. But now, the moment you've all been waiting for, I, uh, I don't have a good song.
Bet you didn't see this coming!
Bet you didn't see this coming, Seema. Me saying, I got you some tickets, Seema. You know what? You know what they're tickets to?
They're to the gun
Two
show,
tickets
Mac.
to the gun show. Look at them right there. Look at those guns. These are my weapons. These are my 230 226 why am I blanking on what all of the gear scores are? 326. These are my 326 weapons with a customization, a custom look stamped on top of them in the outfitter. This is a good time. This is
Yeah, it is.
something we've been wanting for quite a while. Really happy we finally got it in. Have you set up your weapons, Seema? Yeah,
I
where are
played
you?
with it on my my scoundrel, and
Yeah.
so now he has flashy
Yeah.
in his outfit. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm more excited about this now than I was before because I didn't really think about it. I knew we were going to be able to use old weapons from long gone by days, but I didn't really think about the old crystals and weapon tunings. I kind of thought about weapon tunings, but especially the old crystals. And then, yeah, I think it's an interesting boost to crafting that I hadn't been thinking about. So artifice with the crystals and with um I think artifice makes some weapons, but then all the crafting, like the everyone who has a arms tech and their old weapons, like they're not max level, so you can't use them before, but now you can use them with any look you want. Oh
Right.
no, so artifice makes lightsabers
Yes. And offhands, the
and offhands, right? But offhands,
force users,
they don't show up.
but they don't show up.
Yeah, yeah.
Then don't worry. I saw somebody complaining about their offhands. If you dual wield weapons, those certainly show up. I don't know what the complaint was in the forums. There is no complaint. But let's run down it. Let's run down a little bit because we do have some tips and tricks too for making sure you get the most out of it and how to use it. If you can't equip the weapon, you can't stamp it. So this is all in the outfitter now. So bring up your outfitter interface just as you would. You hit C for character, click on the outfitter tab. You need this little box off. This is show gear as outfit. That's just if you wanted to see what your actual gear looks like. You click that off and it'll show your outfit. Then you have two slots at the top now, or one slot if you're only single wielding, or it still would look like two, but an empty one that you can't fill anything in. These then are slots that you're taking an item in your inventory and stamping into the slot. It needs to be a weapon that you can equip, though. So for my bounty hunter, I can only equip blaster pistols. So I can't take a blaster rifle and stamp it into that slot. If you're a lightsaber wielder, if you're a single-bladed lightsaber wielder, you can only put single-bladed hilts in. If you are a class that can use multiple types of weapons, and snipers are one as an example, you could put a blaster rifle in or a sniper rifle in and stamp either of those in, which is kind of nice. If you, so you can't do single wielders, can't do double bladed lightsabers. That's clear. One of the things that you're going to need to keep in mind, though, one of the things that you're going to need to work out is because we have multiple styles now. If you switch to a style where you can no longer wield that weapon, the look of that weapon won't be stamped on your new weapon. And if you want your new weapon, like if I switch over to my Vanguard style on this character, and I want the blaster rifle that he's carrying to have an outfit stamped, a look stamped onto it, I'm going to need a separate style, or I'm going to manually need to stamp that look in every time I switch. So all of us having the number of possible styles, I think you can have up to 15 or something at this point in the game. You
Wait,
may need to reset
you're
some
talking
of
about
those.
loadouts, not styles, right?
No, the actual styles. So you can have about 15 styles. If you had like 8 cool outfits, but now you want to add weapons, you may need 16 outfits because you have 2 styles now, and
Oh,
your
I see what you're
weapons may be
saying.
different
Yeah,
between the styles.
yeah. Right.
If the weapons are the same between the styles, like you have a sage and a juggernaut, and they both use a single-bladed lightsaber, well, it's fine. You can put whatever lightsaber you want in, and as you switch the loadout, it will keep that style. It remembers the style that you used in the loadout, and now you're still using a single-bladed lightsaber. Even if you swap it out for another lightsaber, it'll look like the lightsaber you have in the outfit. So that is
So
cool.
it's just like how you would have to upgrade those weapons separately too.
Right. Right. Exactly. Uh, so it's and however, it it would be like taking the legendary weapons or a legacy bound weapon and putting it in your storage and moving it between characters and that kind of thing. But as Seema was mentioning, the cool thing now is you can do this. You can stamp in weapons that are unbound or do you have to bind the weapon? I don't think you do actually. We'll find out here in just a second because I'm going to take an unbound weapon and I'm going to stamp it in. But bound weapons that aren't legacy bound, old weapons that are low level, uh, weapons that have low level uh, crystals and tunings. Tunings don't have a level associated with them. But there's another tip. So here's a cool tip. If you want to put a color crystal and a tuning onto the weapon, you need that in the weapon that you're stamping in before you stamp it in. There's no way to add a crystal to the outfit directly. You need to put the crystal in the weapon before you put it in the outfit.
But if
But
you forget to do that, yeah, it's still not a big deal. You can just do it and then recommit the
right,
thing.
right. I
You'll
mean, you're gonna
just
pay
lose
20,000
credits.
credits again or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's minor. It's minuscule. But as Simo was alluding to with the crafting being interesting again, that's crafting of color crystals. And the reason crafting of color crystals is now useful is because those color crystals that most of the color crystals that you would craft are low level, right? Those low
Yeah.
level color crystals, you will still get value out of them as a look, and you can keep the plus 41 crystal in your actual gear and take the plus 4 crystal from the collector's item vendor and put that in a weapon and put that in your outfit or something that someone crafted or some non a crystal that has a different stat on it and put that in the look because you only have one black white crystal or white crystal or whatever, but it was endurance, so you've never used it on your DPS characters. You can now use that by putting it in the look.
Right.
Really, really
Put
cool.
it put it in the outfitter. So you still have your eviscerating crystal in your gear, but the outfitter has whatever crystal you want.
Exactly. Yeah, which is really, really, really effective way to again make use of some of those crystals that you might have wanted to use but couldn't use before, or crystals that you can craft that were lower level that are now relevant again. Speaking of crafting, we can now start crafting a whole bunch of those old weapons and start using those again. So there are plenty of weapons that arms tech and artificers can make that are kind of cool, and some of them are pretty unique. Those now are relevant, and you may want to ask some of your crafter friends or dust off your old crafters and look at some of them and find out what you might want made for you. I even made one today. Here, I'll show you, show you this one, Seema. Yeah, I'm going to show you two things. So you might have a loadout where you want to stamp in. So this is maybe for Seema. I'm going to stamp in some weapons here because maybe you want super, super tiny weapons like this. little tiny blaster weapons. So I will get you the notes on what this weapon is, Seema. This is the S-303 Spec Ops Disruptor, the tiniest weapon in the game I could find. So you can put those in all of your outfits because I know that's quite
I want
important to you.
I want them to be able to fit in my pocket.
The alternative, check out this. Got a couple of them here. This one, I almost equipped it. Outfitter. So this is the Havod Onslaught Blaster Pistol, which I was just looking through what my arms tech could craft, and he could craft these things. Wait. Oh, so it will bind it. If you're if you're trying to stamp in an unbound weapon, it will bind it. So
Mm-hmm.
you can't take an unbound weapon, stamp it in as a style, and then keep it unbound and like sell it on the cartel market. That makes sense. But
Yeah,
here
it
we
does.
go. Check out these guns. That is a blaster pistol.
Yeah, those are like, are those the Rishi sort of pirate guns?
No, this is longer than those. Wow, there's some cool etching on them even.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
These is the Rishi blaster pistols are half the size of this. These things are like as long as a rifle. These
They
things are
are.
as tall as SEMA. Look here, I'll hold it up next to SEMA there. Like, this is tall as SEMA from this angle at least. Look at that. These things are ginormous. And there's a gold version of this too that you can get. I think I could craft it even. So some weird old weapon. It's some low level weapon. I don't know where I got it, but I could craft it. So that was pretty amusing to me. My weapons are the GR Tech 10 plasma core blasters, but then there's a
When I'm
couple
able
other
to make
large
my
ones.
Ortolan character, I'm gonna use those blasters.
There was one in the cartel market that I don't know where it came from. I keep doing that. Go to Outfitter tab. That I don't know where or how I missed it. I never really collected stuff out of the cartel market. But there's one I will show you in the cartel market that now I do need to get. There's these double-barreled ones. These are kind of cool. These ones came from Alliance MedTech, but this was also around the time of the like the Rishi weapons.
Mm-hmm.
There's the
Right.
pirate weapons, there's the Rishi weapons, there's the Kingpin weapons from the
Oh, I
nightlife
forgot about the
event.
king thing. Yeah.
Is the nightlife event still going on? Those are the ones that look like 1930s mafia
Right.
Al Capone weapons. Yeah, see here, you'll never take me alive, cuppers. And you'll be able to say that. I pulled out my Great Hunt Blaster, as you said, flashy, which was the one that you got from not
From the
Torian,
from the from the story.
from the story, but it was
You're thinking of
originally
Corso. Corso.
Corso, yeah. Corso, I think gives it to you. These are pretty small too. This is the Great Hunt Blaster.
I Now you've got me thinking because I bought all the Kingpin gear, but I'm like, where did I put it?
Good question. You better do that. Do the inventory search across your legacy.
Oh, okay.
That'll show you
I'll
where it
get
is.
right on that. Yes. Yes.
Does not exist. What else did I have in here? Manhunter's Blaster. What is the Manhunter's Blaster? Why did I put oh, because it's another small one. I was trying to find the smallest weapons in the game. This is also kind of small. Not as small as that. Not as small as that other one. Pretty small. So you'll have a few to pick from there, Seema. But the one I found in the cartel market that I'm going to need to get, which I can't equip, obviously. It's a CZX. Yes. Look at this thing. The Circa CZX TAC 4 Blaster Pistol. So I will preview it and show you what it looks like in preview. This thing is ginormous and animated. I don't know how I missed this. I do really want this blaster pistol now. Imagine dual wielding a couple of those bad
Oh,
boys.
yeah.
And Kothak in the chat room is saying that gun is loud. I kind of like when they have unique sounds associated with them, and they do put extra work into the design of the sound, the weapon sounds. But that is giant. And imagine that with like the incendiary weapon tuning on it with flames coming
Mm-hmm.
out of the front. That would be pretty cool. Gonna have to make that happen, I think. It is not. I did not see it on the cartel market, and I did not see it on the GTN. So gonna have to wait till it comes around again and snag it and snap it up. So plenty of cool things there. I think we had a couple other tips though, didn't we, Seema? For example, if you only have an offhand gun, like that real small one that I was showing you that Seema's gonna want, you can stamp an offhand only weapon into an offhand or a main hand slot, or vice
Yeah,
versa.
I'm surprised about that.
So am I. But that does work, and I verified it.
Well, I guess it makes sense because, they would have the same animations.
Right. It's still a blaster pistol. They probably just check,
Yeah.
is it a blaster pistol? Don't
Yeah.
bother to check what hand it's allowed to be equipped in. So that is nice. Weapon effects. So if you, oh, here, I let me go back. There was a couple others for me to show you. I forgot. Let me go to my loadouts. Loadouts remember what outfit you had on last. So the loadout is saved with the outfit now as well, which is kind of cool. So if I go to my Pyrotech build, it had a different outfit on. And here is the outfit that the Pyrotech had on. But did I leave? What did I do? Did I leave my guns in the... I must have left my guns in the bank, but I have another gun, so that is fine. You need to have a weapon equipped in order to be able to use the outfitter. But here's a couple outfit weapons. This is a unique weapon that I don't think you can get anymore. This was Kashik's Legacy, which I think came from the achievements for one of the events back in the day, which you can't do anymore. But from the Bounty Brokers Association, when the Bounty Hunter event comes around, there are sniper rifle and blaster rifle versions of bowcasters that you can get from there. A couple different versions. So I'm going to have, I like bowcasters for a lot of my rifle users. My Vanguard tank uses a bowcaster often, and now is going to be able to get his bowcaster back. And here's my bowcaster for that I'm going to be using as the Vanguard look for my plasma tech. One of the other weapons, which feeds into another one of our tips, is if I was to take, say, the Amban JP blaster rifle and stamp that on, which is the Mandalorian rifle,
Right.
the disintegration effect, and we confirmed this tonight, the disintegration effect works off of the outfit and you don't have to
Yes.
have the weapon equipped, and you can still
I think that
disintegrate
is
world
so
bosses.
cool, and I'm totally surprised by that as well.
Right.
But
So
I
am
guess
I.
that's how it works.
Apparently it does. So that is cool. I like the idea that loadouts remember what outfit you were wearing, and I'm going to make use of that so that when I switch between loadouts, and maybe it always did for the armor. I bet it always did, and I just wasn't paying attention for the armor, and now it does it for the weapons as well.
Yes.
But I'm going to make use of that now because sometimes I forget what I'm loaded as, what my loadout is. So if I'm in a tank loadout, I can have a tank armor set, and I know that I'm a tank. And then for a DPS loadout, or maybe two different DPS loadouts for two different classes, I can have armor sets that
It kind of
remind
adds
me.
a new wrinkle to inventory management, though, because as these things that are in outfits can be in your bank,
Right.
but the gear that you need to actually equip to switch between loadouts and combat styles has to be in your local inventory.
Yep.
So you
And
have to be like, wait a minute, this thing is in my outfit, so I can put it in the bank. This thing is not in an outfit, so I have to carry it with me.
right.
It's just an
Yeah.
extra sort of decision point
You're going to need
that
to,
I will
right.
have to focus to get right.
Right. I'm keeping
Because
all
I
of my
totally,
gear. I should show you. I've got my legacy bank arranged. So I've got, because there's 15 pieces, that fits very nicely. There's 10 slots by 10 slots on a page, 10 slots by 8 slots, 10 slots across. What I've done is I've taken 3 rows, 5 pieces each, and I've put my tank set on one side in the first 3 rows and my DPS set on the first 3 rows of the other side, and then use 5 extra pieces for the uh, the weapons, the two weapons, or main hand, offhand, the two implants, and the what's this thing called? Tactical, because that will switch out amongst my other DPS, but everything else remains the same, so that I can have a few more rows of 5, and it just sort of stacks down the inventory. And it makes it much easier for me then to grab a set and know what I'm grabbing and make sure I'm grabbing the right set when I'm getting stuff out of my inventory. And I'll just ignore what the look is and try not to think about that once I have them set up.
Yeah.
There's a couple bugs. You can look at the known issues of 7.0.2. A couple of the bugs, though, specifically with the outfitter, that you're really going to need to watch out for is there are a couple weapons in the game, apparently, that equipping them in the outfitter will cause your whole client to crash. The Fractured Ashla lightsaber is one of those, and apparently there's maybe at least one other that is doing it too, some other kind of lightsaber. Keep an eye out for that. If you find more weapons that are crashing the outfitter, submit a bug report so they can get that taken care of. There is also another bug associated with stamping a weapon in the outfitter. The damage values of a character in character details might show up as 0 base damage. That's purely visual bug within the character sheet. All of your actual in-game effective damage is fine. It's all working correctly. You don't have to worry about it. So that is that. How I have not done anything yet with my Force users, but I will. I was just thinking about that. Do you have favorite weapons for your Force users that you're going to
I'm
pull out of storage and make sure you equip?
no. I'm more about just the crystals, being able to put, you know, like the old school magenta crystal and things.
Right. I have a bunch of old crystals that I'll definitely want to look through. And being able to stamp the crystals into an outfit is kind of nice, because there are outfits where I never wanted to swap out the weapon or put a different crystal in a weapon, especially when I was trading weapons back and forth between different characters. So my Sork, for example, wears the white gree armor top and a white cape thing, and then has a lightsaber, and I liked the matching sort of white or light blue blade. But then my Sage wears white and red armor and uses a red blade. I was keeping extra crystals in my inventory because I was wanting the outfit to work and match. And every time I took the weapon out of legacy storage, swapping crystals out. I don't have to do that anymore. So that's going to be nice. There is only one hilt that I definitely like, because the hilt itself generates an effect, which is the Gree weapon hilt, either the saber staff or the lightsaber hilt. That's my favorite lightsaber hilt for my Sork in particular. I'm definitely going to be pulling that now out of storage and be able to put that into outfits for my Sork. So I'm very happy about that.
And if you have some really expensive crystal sitting around that you've been sort of afraid to use, you could stamp it into a lightsaber and then use that lightsaber in multiple outfits.
Right. And still then keep that crystal around, put it back into maybe a legacy weapon so you could move it around and give it to other characters. Maybe you only have one of them. Maybe it's one of the rare ones you got from somewhere and you don't have multiple copies, or it doesn't happen to be in collections. That's a great way to do that. One of the things we mentioned this, but that the chat room was chatting about it just now as well, to remember. Yes, it's unique with snipers. The snipers can use sniper rifles and blaster rifles. They're able to equip them, which means they're also able to put them into their outfits. It's relatively unique. I don't know of any other class that can wield 2 different weapon types, so maybe it's just unique to them. But they can do it, and I confirmed it as well. Which, because the Mandalorian rifle that I'm wielding here on my Vanguard spec is a rifle, but you can stamp it now onto. I think you could even use it as a sniper rifle. You could put the mods in it and use it, but you weren't doing that obviously with your 326 gear because we don't have mods at this point above the old 306 level. So now you can stamp that Mandalorian rifle onto your weapons for your snipers as well. Cool, cool, cool. So yeah, I'm going to do my sniper, my Sork with those weapons because I like that. There are a couple saber staffs that I really like. I'll pull those out for my assassin. There are definitely tunings that I like. Oh, yeah, the saber staff that I like is the volatile. Because the it's like some volatile something saber staff, because that adds an effect to the blade no matter what crystal you put into it. There are certainly tunings that I prefer between different looks and different outfits that I'll be able to add into those as well. In fact, my favorite tuning for my droid characters I mentioned I think last week was the repair droid tuning, which is really cool. I'm going to be able to put that together. Can think of anything others that you're now excited about? As you said, Seema. Oh, you finally got a couple tunings, right? Are you going to put
Oh
incendiary
yeah,
in all of your
yeah, yeah. I'm putting incendiary on everything.
But that's going to add
Flashy,
to the volume
flashy,
of your blaster. It's not going to be tiny as
flashy
it could
on my
be.
scoundrel now has incendiary.
Oh, where did you go? Are you inside the progenitor, baby progenitor feeding
No, I'm
tank?
just
No.
I'm
Let's see here.
standing on some explosive canisters over here.
Blow them up. Maybe I'll get some weekly galactic season credit for that. And then, as I said, I'm going to put some bowcasters on my rifle users. I really like those. I'm going to put, you got to like the Mandalorian rifle because it's got the disintegration effect. I'm going to certainly be using that. I may use that on my plasma tech just so that I can have that effect because it's still a bounty hunter. In fact, I think I made, yeah, let's turn that on. I think I made a full outfit with the bounty hunter gear. What is that gear set called? I forgot what it's called. It is called the Infamous Bounty Hunters set. Infamous Bounty Hunter bracers, chest piece. So there we go. Now I've got the whole look going on, and I can use that to my heart's content on my bounty hunter because it's using a Vanguard second style. Because you do still need to be a rifle wielder to be able to stamp that style in, as we said. So the way you get it on your bounty hunter is to put a second style on your bounty hunter that can wield rifles, which would be
Right.
Vanguards. All right. Well, that is pretty exciting. That was the beginning of the gun show. So hopefully everybody had some weapons all ready to go and is starting to put those together. I will continue now to be able to focus on the gun show from week to week. So be ready for that, everyone. I know you're super excited. You can't wait to see what I come up with in the future. And if anyone has a line on that Zerka blaster pistol, let me know. I do need to get my hands on that now as well. Anything else before we wrap it up, Seema?
No, I'm just gonna log in my arms tech here soon and look and see what old weapons she can make.
Yeah, definitely do that. Everyone get your arms techs and your artificers out, see what they can make, and share that with your friends. Let them know that you can make some cool things for them. That's a really fun way to get some collaboration and some multiplayer going as well on the crafting scene. But with that, I think we are ready to wrap it up, and our EPC 423 droid is ready to jump on an airlock to broadcast this episode to all of you out there. To keep from missing out, subscribe to New Overlords on YouTube and iTunes. We could use a few more YouTube subscribers, so click that subscribe button and thumbs up and like and drop a note down in the comments because there's something to something. I don't know what that does. Algorithm and yada yada. And you can find all the links and more to what's next on newoverlords.com. And if you follow me on Twitter @MaxTheGray, I'll keep you up to date. For the LA Yaktas Guild on Starforge and in all of the games that we play, check out aie-guild.org. And the Discord link is in the upper right there. You can jump in our Discord and we would be happy to get you an invite. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.